Hi, this is the interviews episode 101, and I'm with Roman Gordy, the co-founder of Arbonum, an all-in-one platform that takes care of everything from onboarding to project management, invoicing, payment, tax requirements, reporting, and more. Roman is a digital nomad. It started this digital nomad life in 2014, and he's going to tell us all about it. And he currently lives in Cyprus. And so before we start, don't forget to grab a copy of my ebook, The Entrepreneur Mindset, 7 Tactics to Avoid Being the Bottleneck in Your Business. You'll find the link in the show notes. Hey, Roman, thank you very much for joining me today.
Hello, and thank you for inviting me.
All right, great. So let's start. First, tell us a little bit about your journey.
Well, it started in 2014 when I just moved to a new country. I'm moving every several years, and that was a new idea, a new business that dedicated to helping digital nomads, helping freelancers all around the world to get paid, to get all necessary papers, and to help companies to get rid of those papers and to, to make it very easy to onboard and to work with freelancers worldwide. That's how it began. And since then, I just try to help people because I really believe that our innate right is to work from anywhere with anyone and just to get paid honestly, to get paid fairly. That's it.
Right. So is that what a digital nomad is? Work anywhere for anyone?
Well, yes. We always tell about the digital services and digital works where I can do something and like upload it, my digital results of my work, because we always think of freelancers like artists, like web developers and so on, like copywriters, something like that. We usually don't think about, I don't know, doctors being completely online. Or drivers, yeah, but some professions like teachers are already the online profession. My own child is studying languages with teachers online, and the part of the school lessons are going online. So in the near future, the teacher is going to be the digital nomad. So one teacher from Spain, another teacher from Malaysia. Well, it's a new world.
Yeah, indeed. So why did you choose that life?
I don't really think that I'm like stuck in one place. I want to see the world. I want to show it to other people, but we have to get money to live in a new country. So we have to keep working. How can we keep working in a new country? We have to take the work with ourselves. The second reason is that offices is something like from 20th century, not 21st century. Offices like factories. Factories go more and more automated. So offices are something really old nowadays. It's a place where people come and work around 2-3 hours, according to studies, and all the rest they spend time drinking coffee, chatting, smoking, walking, something like that, or even sleeping, like some companies in Sweden or in Japan, they give an hour to nap.
Yes.
So office is like, if we break borders, we have to break walls as well. Why sitting in the 4 walls if you have better productivity in a park or in, I don't know, in a forest or in a yard, or maybe in a transport? I have a lot of ideas coming while I'm driving, for example. And I have 0 ideas when I'm sitting in front of a laptop in the office for 5 hours.
So you don't have an office at all?
I don't have an office. Yeah, our mission is to get rid of the office, of papers, of borders, of all this stuff. We have to free people from that.
And so this is an interesting topic because, you know, with COVID, people were forced to work from home. They didn't want to. And after 2 years, the companies are asking them to go back to the office, and people don't want to go back to the office. So it causes a lot of trouble. A lot of companies have to reinvent themselves, reinvent the office. What do you think the office of the future is?
It's something like a park, you know. So you have to go there if it's sunny. You don't have to go there if it's raining, like that. The future office is something you can take with you. Maybe it's your car, maybe it's a library, maybe it's an office, a regular place with tables and computers, if you like that. Some people like that, really. It's some kind of psychological thing, because many people who were fired from factories, they just try to come a few days more there, because they can't think that everything is broken. Their life is broken because factory, let's say, stopped, or they were fired, or they just out of the age to work with the factory. Well, I suppose the office is nothing about the place. It's something about the hours, working hours. So I'm in the office, so I have to tell my family, hey, I'm in the office.
Okay. Okay. So if I'm not mistaken, you created Arbonum, sorry, in April 2021, correct?
We started in April. It was some necessary job to do before the launch, but yeah, April, 1 year ago.
Okay. And so can you tell us a little bit about the process that, you know, in the journey to Arbonum, what you did before and how you came out with that idea?
Well, I started in 2014 with another company, like competitors to us today, but competitors only in CIS market. But I decided to make something quite different. We are really aimed and focused on digital services for developers, for artists, for 3D artists, for copywriters, and so on, worldwide. And I found out that many companies from Europe are struggling to work with freelancers in, let's say, emerging markets, because those freelancers can't get paid fairly, can't get even some papers, but they need to have them, and nobody likes to work with them. But a lot of talented people are located there, and we have a lot of cases like people say us, well, thank you, because you just gave us a chance to work for companies worldwide, for customers from US, from European Union, from Japan. Otherwise, literally, they have other options to join the pirate crew. Literally, the crew of the pirate ships. I have some cases in Nigeria, in some other African countries, and they tell us, yes, they're developers, they're really talented, well-skilled developers, but it's very hard to work for a local market because not enough big companies can hire them. So we try to open other markets. And that was the reason, because we started Arbonum. It's a place for something that we can connect different countries. We can connect emerging markets and talents located there with US, with Israel, with European Union, so on.
Right, and you take care of all the paperwork and the tax and everything for the client.
Yes, of course we do that. It's an important part of our daily job. But what is most important, I suppose, is that people can get fairly paid, so they don't get lower price or something like that. Usually, companies trying to cut costs and save money when hiring someone in emerging markets. But if developer can do the same job like developer from France, I don't really think this developer from Morocco, for example, has to get less money. He spends the same time, the same quantity of hours, and the prices in Morocco may be the same like prices in north of France for some goods. So it's not right fair when companies hire someone just to cut the prices.
All right. And so Arbonum is still in a startup mode, I would say. What is it to be like a startup founder living a digital nomad life?
Well, a few things are quite similar to starting a company from the office, you know,
Yeah.
like to get the funds to go to office every day and to do something in the office with the team, with the regular team. In my case, we found that we don't have an office, the regular office, just because to have a place where all together, we can just eat something together in the kitchen. Because we found the best developers we could find at the moment. We found the best lawyers we could find at the moment. So those people are quite, you know, they don't need chatting or just nonsense to tell about. Everything we can communicate just can be made with Zoom or Skype or something like that. We don't have to spend hours in the office. But I suppose the main obstacles were like to stay on the line. Yes, we still have some tools to synchronize our work, synchronize tasks and so on. But I suppose we have plenty of tools to get there. We have plenty of tools to use. It's not just email or Slack, but it's like some frameworks to work, frameworks where we can just be online, be on the same stage and see how we synchronize or not with different employees. We're not a huge team, but I suppose everyone in our team just really know what he has to do or she has to do at the moment. That's the most important thing. But all other nervous and stressful things are the same. Like if you start your startup in the office or from your garage, you always trying to keep an eye on what's going on around, and the world changes amazingly fast. So you have to run quicker than your competitors. It's quite a difficult thing to do. So you are happy in the morning, you're really sad or upset in the evening. That's terrible. It's a terrible thing.
You know, I'm the old generation, or the generation before you. I'm 45, soon to be 46, and I hear you talking, and you have an entirely remote staff, but I value more the discussions I had around the coffee machines, you know. And what you're saying is that, well, we don't need those. And to me, it's like, oh, come on, how can't you have that? Don't you miss the human connections, like in person?
No, I think we have even more human connections. I mean, we have more things to discuss, and every call is quite, you know, plenty of questions we have to discuss, and it's quite filled in with something important, not just the chatting about anything else. We're quite motivated team. We really see the mission that we have to run fast to make more people happy with what we do. So literally, we don't have really time for a lot of for 5 or 6 coffee cups a day together. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk a bit more about life as a digital nomad. If for the people who are listening to us, and if they want to follow your steps and become a digital nomad or a remote entrepreneur, or digital entrepreneur, whatever we call you, can you share some little tips, you know, to be successful in that life?
Well, time management is the first thing. It's obvious, but it's quite hard to follow. So every hour, it's quite important for you, because when you switch from the office to, let's say, digital nomads life, being a freelancer means that you will work not 8 hours per day, maybe 12 hours per day, maybe 14 hours per day. Sometimes it's because it's your own business, okay, you try to do more that you can. But sometimes it's a mistake of people that think that, okay, now the time is mine and I can use it like I want. But actually, that's the trouble. If you work 14 hours a day in 1 or 2 months, you just have a big burnout and your productive level gets lower. That's the main thing. You have to watch it very carefully. That's the main thing. And this is something not so obvious about the work-life balance. Actually, you have to understand what you do. If you do something you really like, if you spend your time with your family once when you rest, then I don't know, that you have to watch about what balance you have. Maybe you can mix it up. Maybe you can work for 2 hours, then make a break for 2 hours and come back to work. It's okay. Everyone just decided for themselves. But anyway, you have to follow some rules. You have to find some rules for yourself and follow them. Otherwise, in 5 or 6 days, you find out that you just work more than in the office, and you end up with a terrible burnout.
I can totally relate to what you are saying. I don't consider myself as a digital nomad, but I work from home, and maybe 60 to 70% of my work is done on Zoom, like we are doing right now. And this is the big lesson for me, is switching to working from the office to working from home. I found myself work more, and I had to do like what you're saying, like be very disciplined about having rules, stopping, taking breaks. Otherwise, I would work non-stop. It's so easy to be in that. I don't know why, but it's so easy to be in that frame where you never stop working.
Indeed, you just run and run, but it doesn't give you something more than you had in the office. So you just find yourself tired. Of course, exercise, walking, swimming, wherever it's available for you, it's quite an important thing as well. But that's the downside of freelance, because many people recognize they started to work more for the same price, for the same money as they had in the office work. But also you have to switch off the Facebook. Yeah, start with that. That's the first point. Switch off the Facebook, because what we have in the office, every time we scroll the Facebook, when we are employees, we work for someone, they pay us for scrolling the Facebook, and we just don't, we try to think that it's a part of our job, but it isn't. It really isn't. So it's just a destructive thing. And when you work for yourself, you have to understand that you pay yourself for scrolling Facebook. Would you like to pay yourself for scrolling Facebook more, or Instagram? I don't think so.
Not really, if you ask me the question, no. I've stopped Facebook too. Any other tips or traps to avoid that you can share?
Well, another trap is that you can just move left or right from your way. When we start to work like digital nomads, when we switch off from the office, we have a dream of something. We have a vision of the life we would like to have, of the discipline we would like to follow, of the timeline and so on. But it's very easy to get off this way. If, for example, you get 2-3 customers you work for, and sometimes you have even more routine works for them than you expected. So you start to be like 2 or 3 persons in one. You have to be an accountant, you have to be a lawyer sometimes, and you have to be who you are. I mean, designer or developer or who you are. It takes time. It takes a lot of time, and sometimes it can be something that prevails and takes a lot of time, even more than your main job you have to do. You have to follow it as well. That's why I started with the timeline, because you have to give to all this routine job like 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day, not more. And some kind of tips that we used in Arbonum, we switched from Slack to another tool for asynchronous communications. So we don't follow the chat, we don't read the chat, scroll the chat every time. We discuss everything like in emails. So we have a topic to discuss. If someone has an idea or comments, yeah, you can leave it, you can just publish it later maybe, but it's not distracting as a Slack messages. So Slack gives you something like illusion of spending very useful time, that you are on the top of news of your team, but actually it's a false. It's not true.
Interesting. So what you're saying basically is life as a digital nomad is great, but it's not all rosy. There is a dark side to it.
Well, actually, if we think about the 2030 and what is going to be, I suppose many people will lose their job. They will become freelancers as well. But not everyone can create something. Many people are great in what they do, but in screwing nuts, in something very not creative job. It's not bad. Most of the things that we used work not because of ideas or art or something really creative. Most of the things we use made by engineers, you just took something from science and made something wonderful working. I don't know, elevators. Elevators weren't created by an artist. Otherwise it would move something like that. We never know what the floor we are in. But I suppose if we switch from the human work to artificial intelligence, in some kind of work, it's really nice. We can save people from injuries, but sometimes we can give people the freedom, the free time, and they have to decide what to do with all this free time. We can speak about salaries, I don't know, free money for people, but it's not only about the money. It's also about what you can give to this world. What would you like with this free time? Walking for 5 hours a day in the park, it's not the best thing you can do. Yeah, so and many people I know they're freelancers not because they want to be freelancers. They just don't want to spend their life in the offices first, and they try to get more money, working for 2, 3 or more customers at once. But what they found that they work more, and sometimes they get even less money for all this time. That's the problem. That's the problem, and we've seen this during the pandemic, like when people work from home. It's something that dissolved the borders between work and your life and your family, your free time. Dissolves everything, mix it up, and we have to teach our children how to work from home, how to work from other countries, and so on. So we have not to start with the people 30, 35 plus. We have to start with a 5 plus, age of 5, to explain how they're gonna live. My daughter recently just asked me, well, Daddy, what do you think? What profession I have to, what occupation I have to choose for me? Maybe I want to be a teacher. And I say to her that we have 80% chances that teachers will be eliminated and change it with artificial intelligence maybe in 10 years. So that's not a really good idea.
You're that pessimist.
Well, it sounds like that. It sounds like that, but we have to think from both sides.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be happy with all of that, but I also always see what's going on. I see how people work from home and being stuck in this home. So they're not free. They're not every freelancer actually able to travel around the world and show this life on Instagram that he's working from South Africa and tomorrow he's flying to Brazil. Well, it would be great, of course. But unfortunately, 900 9% of those freelancers working from home, more and more and more.
Yeah, I know some digital nomads. We were talking last month, and they are in Thailand at the moment, and on a very nice island, and they were telling me that it was impacting the quality of their work because everything was nice. There's the sun all the time. There's beautiful beaches. The sea. There are party everywhere because it's the high season, the start of the high season over there, and they were not as effective as they thought they would be. So now they're thinking about moving country into something a bit more formal because they need that structure to be efficient and to really work.
Well, I agree. I know developers working from Thailand, they relocated from other countries. And since they're relocating, they're thinking about the beach life.
Yeah.
Well, it's affecting work. Well, it depends on personal qualities. We have to develop it. We have to develop our skills of working under the palms.
It's a great point. It's a great point. I like it.
It's nice skill, but I also think that working from a huge snowy.
Well, if you love skiing, it's a problem.
It's a problem. That is good. Working from forest and so on. Yeah. Right. The main idea is not to get the switch office slavery to home slavery. That's the main point. We have to be aware of it.
Nice. Let's go back to you, the entrepreneur. What does it mean for you to be an entrepreneur?
It's to do something that nobody else can do. It's to take something, make it really unique. That I can sign that it was made by me. Nobody else can do that. Not because I'm so talented. No, just because we have to have an option to take from different brands to different people, and if we share the same vision, if we share the same, the same values with a brand or with this person, so we can devote to it, we can buy from this person or from this brand. So making something really specific is what inspires me to do that. I see competitors, they try to do something really cool. I don't want to do the same. I don't want to do it quite better. Sometimes they do great stuff, and everything I can do is to do it different, but in a good way, but in different way, to show people my values. And if they share it, they become our customers. That's the main point. That's the main driver for me. I don't want to consume every time. I want to create something also.
And what do you want to take your business to? What's your big dream?
I would like to break borders for people. It's not about the globalism itself, but it's about all this ridiculous thing that we got for centuries. I mean, borders. I really don't care where the border is if there is a prosperity from both sides. So if I work, on the border between Germany and France in one city, and I would like to move to another city, there's no problem. European Union. Yeah, it's great, but some regions on our planet still has strict borders, and some people share values of another country, of another world. Okay, they have to move freely, but they don't have to choose from their life with the salary, with with their insurance policy, with everything so on. Or to break everything, to leave it there, and to be like refugees. Freelancers is something like downshifting sometimes. It's something about being work refugees. So you'd like to move to another country and to work there because, not because your homeland is poor or it's really bad. No, but sometimes you just like the nature of another country, the climate, or I don't know, you like a culture. I know, even a kitchen of another country, you like that. You want to live there. For example, I adore Portugal. Indeed. And I suppose I'd like to move to Lisbon one day, or many countries, from Tokyo maybe. So my dream is that people like me could just take a plane and get there. They don't have to think about this, all this papers, insurance, visas, residence permits, and so on. But if we do little steps, we can eliminate some paperwork, some troubles with the taxation. We can help with that in the beginning.
So you mentioned insurance, and this is a great transition to my next question, because this episode is sponsored by Medical for Nomads, and you have just become an affiliate for them. So you're going to help them sell medical insurance and life insurance. Why did you decide to become an affiliate for them? That's my first question.
I really like the idea. I myself found it's really hard to get the medical insurance in a new country. When you're digital nomads, banks, insurance companies, hospitals, they don't understand who are you, what are you doing. You have to show your salary, come into your bank account every month. Okay, they can work with you then. But if you have like income that is not so constant, or you have different income and different month from month to month, you have less money or more money, well, you can pay for this insurance anyway. They don't have to worry about that, but they have this again, it's a ridiculous thing. They have to show, you have to show them the papers stated that you have salary. That's it.
Right.
We try to help them getting all the papers. They get all the papers they need to show in the bank or to get the visa. And also, I think it's a nice combination to give them also an option to get some benefits like insurance, like medical insurance or life insurance, because sometimes freelancers moving to quite exotic countries, and it's so important to get insurance there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And that's, I guess this is another aspect of living a nomad life. And we're talking about the dark side of it earlier, is that it can be very tricky on practical life, day-to-day life, to live a nomad life because of the lack of insurance, the lack of infrastructure. You need a bank account, you need all that stuff which you can't get. Right? So what would you suggest to people? So first you tell them, get an insurance, but what else?
Well, before moving to somewhere, you have to decide what level of, of services, level of quality of life you would expect in a new place. It's not about the romantic, it's about the practical things. When you move, especially when you move with your family, with the small kids, so you have to think twice, because everything you might see in tourist prospects, in videos or bloggers, it might differ from what you see in reality. And people rarely show this backside of their life. They mostly show, beaches, mountains, traveling, and so on.
They don't show you the healthcare facilities, for instance.
No, you just come. If anything happens, you see the real life.
Yeah.
And I suppose you don't want to see the real life without any insurance of that.
Yes, it's a good point. So don't only look at the beaches and the palm trees, but look also at the infrastructure, because it can be very important, especially if you have a family. You have responsibilities to take care of them.
Yeah, if you live in Berlin, for example, all your life, and you're dreaming about moving to Asia, to Bali,
Yeah.
And all you know about the Bali is something like VR glasses. So you can see everything, but you don't touch it, and the reality can't bruise you from that side. It only can happen when you come and you realize that everything it's slightly different from what you thought about that. But if you have someone that can back you up with that, it's much better to move.
Yeah. Do your research, do your homework. Remember, there's no social security in a lot of countries, especially if you're coming from developed countries again in Europe, like Germany or France.
I would say many countries has no human security, even in your day-to-day life. Yeah, it's sometimes. I know people from Colombia, from Venezuela. They moved there. They like cultures. They have some friends from there. They decided to move to try themselves in a absolutely new situation. Well, it's something extreme, kind of extreme experience for them.
Yeah.
Think twice.
Yeah, I lived 20 years in Southeast Asia, in emerging countries, and I've seen dead people in the streets, and nobody were caring about the bodies. I've seen that with my own eyes, and it's very shocking. And that's the reality. That's the reality of those countries over there. Yeah, indeed.
And different cultures actually has different values in terms of life of a person, health of a person. It doesn't matter they're bad or good. It's just like that. It's just what we have now. What we see in France or Germany is quite different from what you can see in some other places.
All right, great. We're coming to the end of that great conversation. Two more questions for you. The first one is, take all your experience as an entrepreneur, a startup founder, a digital nomad, and summarize it into one key recommendation to other entrepreneurs out there. What would it be?
Oh, let me think. It's a great question, actually. Well, maybe it will be something like, well, you have to develop your intuition on a daily basis. It's not something you have from the birth, but you have to develop your intuition. Yes, it's not a logical thing. It's not a rational thing. But very often, all the rational analysis, all rational forecasting is just a trash. Because many other things can change. You can do anything with that. So develop your intuition and develop your liquid thinking about that. You don't have to have a brain made of bricks. You have to make a liquid brain. So, especially if you move to another country, you have to study language. You have to dive deep into local cultures. It's very important. It makes your brain liquid as well. It makes your logic more flow. It will help you because everything is changes. You just have to adapt.
Yes, very true. Especially if you move into another country, which is like 180 degrees from your own culture. So you're gonna get some slaps in the face. I know what I'm talking about. I moved from France to Southeast Asia. It was like, oh yeah, that's different.
Well, I don't want to sound like, to tell you that you don't have to move. You have to try. You have to try, of course, but remember that you can subscribe to 100 of analytics of, I don't know, very clever persons that can share advices, but your experience is only your experience. It will be yours. It will be very specific, and you can't share it with anyone else because it will be your your way. And to follow your way, the intuition will help you to follow it.
Okay, last question then. How can people contact you?
It's very easy. It's LinkedIn, I suppose, the Facebook, Instagram, I don't know, our chat or our website. So as I said, we have quite a small team. So we always share the contacts, and we always see what's going on. If someone trying to contact us, we always think how we can be helpful. And we don't have, like hierarchy. That's people that answer the questions, and sometimes the information goes up to the CEO. No, we have a flat structure, so we trying to solve. At this stage, we can afford it. Maybe on further, we
might change.
I suppose, yeah. But we just we enjoy it that we have a flat structure at the moment, and we can contact people.
Excellent. Thank you, Roman, for your time today.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
And thank you for listening. If you like this show, leave a review on your favorite podcast platform so you can help inspire more entrepreneurs. See you next time. Bye-bye.